talking about Cashaa, Cashaa is a UK-based fintech startup which started leveraging the blockchain infrastructure and the promises of blockchain to see that how we can use some of these technologies to create a product for the masses. So that's the vision and mission goal of the Cashaa, is to use blockchain technology to create product for the masses. Now, the question is what kind of products? So blockchain, one of the very clear implementation was that the financial industry can take a lot of good things from the blockchain industry. And that's where also Cashaa came into the picture. So Cashaa is a fintech company. One of the first product which Cashaa tested a year ago was the remittance. Cashaa started a small remittance play, a small, you can say, a minimum viable product based on a blockchain application, which we just thrown out into the market to see that how market reacts on that. And what we've seen that more than 141 countries captured that product in less than 90 days. And the product started exponentially growing. But because it was a financial regulated company, and the company main core business was to moving money around, until unless it is technology, that's fine. But then you have a legal implications like having a regulated license, having e-money license, having like licenses in India, like you need MTC license, and then you need rupee drawing arrangement. So you come into a bunch of different regulatory aspects. But from the technology side, the Cashaa has proven that this technology can really work at a larger scale, where you have acquiring customer every day, thousands of customers using your platform. And by inspiring of this success, what Cashaa decided to now go for the next mission, that obviously we're going to acquire license, but we don't want to acquire license just to become a money transfer company, but to create something which can create a product which can be beneficial for existing banking people like us, but also the unbanked people. The promise for the unbanked people is obviously great, because unbanked people, when we talk about unbanked people, we are talking about Ali, Ram, or Zunu, or someone who lives in one of the places where he have no banking infrastructure, no way to communicate or participate into the global economy. So obviously for these kind of people, these demographic people, or the people from this kind of industry, it make a lot of sense to have this kind of financial products. But at the same time, if you take the promises of blockchain, which the people like us can leverage, which we showed in our MVP, that you can have a cheaper money transfer system. So the money which was transferred from UK to most of these parts during our beta test, we reduced the cost almost 10 times less. So each transaction was costing $1 to the consumer. So you want to send money $1,000, £1,000 from UK to India, it cost you £1, straight fee, done. So you had a quick benefit out there in the system. And that's how Cashaa started. And now Cashaa is going towards become a full payment application, where you can have remittance services, you can have microcredit services. There will be a extensive trading platform for banks, businesses, trade businesses who are engaged in different settlements in different industry. So it's evolving more as a complex financial product, not as a bank, but you can say a next generation bank. No, so in July we closed the beta version, and now we are applying licenses in all the appropriate regulatory regimes. Like in UK, we are working with FCA to acquire e-money license. In Europe, we are acquiring a bank, a small payment institution, which will give us a small banking license.
Right.
So in Europe, we can issue our users a bank account with a SWIFT code, so they can literally transfer money and then have a card-based product to spend money, or they can travel around the world and use the money which in their account. In India, we are launching obviously the remittance product first for the Indian consumer, and a micro loan feature for the Indian consumer who does not have maybe, I will not say banking infrastructure, but they want to get cheaper or better terms for the loans. Here's the thing, a technology does not have to do a lot with the product adoption right now, because it's two different things. as a consumer, if we are a consumer of many products, correct? Does it matter how artificial intelligence works when you use Google Map for you?
Not really.
So why it matter when you use a financial product, that how blockchain works or how blockchain technology is picking up? It does not make any sense that blockchain technology is picking up for the consumer. Consumer want to have a better product. Like all those our 12,770 users on our platform which use the remittance product, they were not there because the company was using blockchain. No, they were there because the money was transferred at £1 a transaction. Correct? The value proposition in the benefit of a product, not in the technology of a product. The technology enables the benefit, which is our job to do, not the consumer's job. Correct? So I don't see that it's going to be anyhow difficult to be in India or in Philippines or in any, if there is enough market, like you have a basic infrastructure like internet, the product is good. And I will say that India is right now the best place to use these kind of products, because India have a wave of digital India. People want to move toward the digitization. Government is committed towards the digitization. We have new POS devices coming. We have new initiatives coming. So I think that these are the really a good sign that if you have right now a technology which can back the digital government, a digital India initiative, you will get better adoption than ever before in India. So we are so for the to allow, let's put it this way, because ICO is not an investment tool. ICO is more about allowing the community to participate in your company or in your product.
Right.
To give you an example, it's I think what I said, it literally does not make sense, because I understand from where you are thinking. ICO is complete different thing. What I'm saying is ICO is complete different thing. So if you don't understand something, just tell me that this thing doesn't make sense, because I know there is a lot of gap in what we are talking about. So I take you back. Why ICOs are important and why ICOs are picking up. And we go into the good and bad things. But the fundamental of ICO. In a current company in model, in any company you have three kind of stakeholders, correct? First, consumer of that product. Any product, you have three kind of people. One, the consumer of any product. Okay, who is the customer? Second, you have employees of the company. And third, the investors of the company. So you have three entities which build a product.
Right.
The problem is the existing infrastructure is that the goal of all these three are different. A customer always wants cheaper service. Employees of the company always want a lot of salary, more and more salary. Right. And an investor want a lot of return. Now, if you see all these three people are looking for three different things, it becomes really difficult to grow a community, because if you charge a consumer less, then how you give your investor more return? And if your investor is not giving enough funding, or your customer is not paying you enough money, how you give your employee more salary? So you have to find somewhere a sacrifice. So either you charge your consumer too much, or you don't charge, then the investors are not happy. So you can't have a balanced infrastructure. While what ICO concept says, that what about we build a community where producer, consumer, and also investor and employee are all into all related with the same common goal of a development of a infrastructure, or say development of an organization.
Right.
But the point is that how they participate into this model. And to make this enable you, the blockchain right now is helping them through the ICO process. So if a consumer is suppose buying a cash token, and cash token enables him to use the platform cheaper and efficiently, he is happy. If he did this as a terms thinking it's an investment, then if the coin price is also going up, he's again happy because he is getting advantage from the other way. So you see how you brought the synergies of all these 3-4 parties into one. So a consumer is also investor, an investor is also employee, an employee is also a consumer.
Okay.
And that's what blockchains are doing by creating a community. So suppose if Cashaa have a 5,000 people community who is using the product, also the investor and also the developer of that product, then you bring this, you take out these kind of, obviously it's a very, very early stage. So we need to do a lot of job, but that's the fundamental concept of an ICO. Okay. It's not just a straight investment tool. So you said, and that's why you have a utility tokens. So people who are buying, say, Cashaa tokens, they are buying it because if they hold Cashaa token, they can participate into the Cashaa model and use the services much cheaper and efficiently. The other advantage is the growing coin is going expensive. But not the main ambition. The main ambition is that they can use the products which is built by the community, which is Cashaa in this case. Right. Any company, any country, if it is not North Korea or Zimbabwe or in a very severe problem or some kind of in its own internal problems, you have very clear guidelines. What the guidelines of a company says that please do a fair business, pay your taxes on time, don't facilitate money laundering and terrorist or any financial crime. Know your customer. So as long as you are following all these guidelines, you are okay. The pretty thing is that while doing this ICO, 90% of ICOs have not taken care of all those 4 things. Right. It's not the problem of the ICO, it's the problem of the people who conducted those ICOs. So the problem is not in the government, the problem is not in the startup, the problem is not in the ICO. The problem is on those specific ICOs who just broke all the laws of doing this. Like for example, you want to build a bank. So Cashaa is like a bank. If you got an idea, Cashaa sounds like a small or maybe a new generation, let's say a challenger bank kind of system built on a blockchain infrastructure. Right. We can go all this session that what are the advantages and disadvantages of blockchain, but that's a fundamental product. Now, if Cashaa is saying that the ICO is to build the community, which means the community is also the user of this bank, how you are doing an ICO without knowing who is the person, what is the identity of the person, and where he lives, which means a basic KYC, a full KYC. Problem is all these banks or all these ICO who claim that they want to build a financial product, they never did a KYC on any user. Which means that you are telling that you want to become a bank where in your bank you don't know who is your consumer. How that's possible? You broke a first basic principle of any financial institution, which is called know your customer. So obviously in this case, forget about what is called ICO or TGT. You broke a very fundamental principle of existing banking or financial infrastructure. And that's why the ICO become illegal immediately. It's not the ICO become illegal. It's because you did not follow those principles. So if you are doing a proper KYC and AML, you are okay. If your token is not any kind of security, because if your token is a security, then you have a different guidelines to follow, and you can follow those guidelines and you are okay in United States as well. So United States is one of the most vocal, the SEC in United States is one of the most strong and contender, because everyone in the world afraid of SEC. No matter you are Indian or you are Afghani or whatever you are, if you mess with SEC gonna find you in your country. So everyone don't want to mess with, at least nobody want to mess with United States in this regard. So, but and to tell you that Cashaa is also doing their token sale in United States, and we are letting every United States person to come and participate into the token sale. Okay. Because we know that all the process has been followed, which is required by the guidelines, and you are okay. And the same we have to follow in India, the same we have to follow in Europe or anywhere you do.